Well, happy Thursday, everybody. Leslie here. Have an interesting tip number 2 in this series of how to get unstuck. And I'm going to go through them quickly with you. There are 8 obstacles that stop people in getting into this career. So let's talk about them and get them out on the table. All right. So, number 1 is I wouldn't be good at it. And there's 2 parts to this. This is A of number 1. I wouldn't be good at it. Well, you don't know till you enter it. And, we've had our parents say, well, you won't know if you don't try. And that's true. That's true. There's some things that I could look at and say, no, I'm not doing that. Like the guy who went hang gliding and he didn't have his harness hooked up. Did you see that video? Won't be trying that. I am not I can do heights, but driving up in Yosemite 2 weeks ago on those treacherous mountain roads with no guardrails, and at any moment you can go off a cliff. Seriously, I won't be doing that again. But you don't know about this career until you start to move towards it, investigate it, research it. So you don't really know if you'll be good at it or not, right? Until you're kind of in it. And you have to be in it for 2 to 6 months to know if you like it or not. That's my personal opinion. The letter B to this number 1 is, you might not have heard of this. Maybe you have. It's called let me fix this a little bit because it's so, like, the sun is going down. The imposter syndrome can stop us from going in because we feel that we are not there yet. We're looking at it being a perfect entry into it sometimes. That stops us. Like, we're going to be perfect before we go in. I can tell you that's not going to happen because you learn what you can before you go in. And that doesn't mean school. I'll handle that a little bit down on the list. It means getting enough legal knowledge to give you some more confidence. And then when you go in, it'll still be 2 to 6 months where you're feeling like you know zero. Even after you've taken my course in January, you will still learn about that specific area of law, things that you didn't know. So that's what you depend on that you don't know a lot and you don't have to be perfect, and then you jump and then you fly by the seat of your pants. There's nobody who easily will train you. So you have to do a lot of that on your own. And school does not, there are many schools who do not cover the practical side of paralegalism. Okay? There's so much to learn in the office itself. And I try to get you over that hump with my course. So take that in January. Big hint if you're looking at this field seriously. All right. So everybody feels, that, no, I'm not really a paralegal yet, even if they let you call yourself that, even if you did go to school and get certified. You're not really, you can be called a paralegal, but really, are you? No, you're not. When you get that up to that experience level where you can manage cases and you can handle all this without the attorney literally breathing down your neck trying to, he's going to have to oversee everything you do anyway, but he has or she has to build up a trust level with you. And that won't come for a while because you're green. Okay? So you're not an imposter, you're a beginner. Period. All right, so let's go to number 2. I'm too old is the other barrier. I don't want you to let that be a barrier. The society talks a lot about that. It's what, excuse me, it is what you can bring to the table. Although, yes, I know some corporations that a friend of mine hit 60 years old, boom, she's gone. And they encouraged her to retire. Yes, I know this happens. It happened to my father at age 46. Yeah. And a lot of the people that came up with him as teenagers in a grocery chain and they became managers of the store, they also were fired. same age. So, and they were being told they want to bring younger people in. Ridiculous, right? So, yes, I know in some instances that occurs. What attorneys need is a person who can help them in the office. You're not going to stand around spouting law. You're not going to stand around talking about what a fantastic researcher you are. You're going to be working. You're going to be doing clerical work. You're going to be talking to the clients. You're going to be on the phone. You're going to be doing a lot of administrative work. So take the glamour out of it, throw it out the window, and understand it was never glamorous. It is a job that I happen to like, and many people do that are in it. And yes, you can earn decent money, but you have to bring something to the table to up that salary, and that is not in the beginning. So you're not too old. You know, I cannot say that somebody who's 70 is too old to go in this field. If you are as sharp as a tack and you are willing to work hard, and and your brain is on fire and you are energetic, then why should that stop you? But that's all in the mind. And yes, that could be in the employer's mind. That I can't help, but it exists, but it wouldn't stop me. That was number 2. Number 3 is I don't have the dollars to go to school. You don't need to go to school. If you're in school, stay in school. But do you need school to get a job in this field? No. No. So I've had people say to me, but you don't know California. Yes, I do know California. Was just there actually 2 weeks ago. I know California, and I have proven people wrong, that you have to be certified, that you have to have experience. That I've had somebody on a live video challenge me that there are no entry-level jobs for people like us. Yes, there were, and I went online and I found 2 or 3 right in LA right at that moment. So it is how you research. It is the job site you look at. And I shared that information in my class. This one is number 4. I'm not experienced. Again, it's not about, yes, if somebody's advertising for 10 years experience, 5 years experience, don't apply to those jobs. That's not how you do this. But it's the legal knowledge that you bring to the table. That doesn't equate to experience. Stop thinking about experience. That can be used as an excuse for you not to move forward too. I've known people to go through school for 2 years and then say nobody will hire me, and it's all because I don't have experience. No, it's not. It's because you don't know how to write a good cover letter. You do not know how to show and tell. That's the real reason. I'm not ready is the next excuse, the next obstacle. And yes, it's an excuse. Not being ready, saying that means that it's fear-based. And you're not ever going to reach that point of perfection. Never, never, never. It will take 2 to 6 months in the job to feel like you're getting a grasp of some things. So prepare your mind for that. You'll never be totally ready. So at some point you have to jump. Remove that obstacle. Next one, I have no connections. You have to have connections, Leslie, to get into this field. No, you don't. Most of us didn't have connections. The only people I knew, my 2 aunts worked in the legal field, but when I went into it, I think one aunt was retired, and the other aunt was still working for a judge in New Jersey, in the courthouse in Patterson, New Jersey. But she was getting close to retirement age, and that had no bearing on whether I got in or not. When I was working in Oklahoma and then in Florida, that had no clout, and I prefer to get jobs without connections, but it doesn't hurt if you do have them. But I prefer that people respect me for getting in without it. But yeah, you can use your connections, but if you don't have any, don't use that as an excuse that you can't get in, because most of us didn't have that either. And then the next one, next to last, is I don't want to start from scratch. Well, we all have to start from that point. So you build your legal knowledge step by step by step, and you never stop learning. Never. 28 and a half years later, I'm still learning, and will never stop. So then the last one is the longest journey is this, is the first step. Because, you know, if you never start, it's not really a journey, is it? So when you put your foot in the water, that toe in the water, and you begin the journey, and that means you start researching what area of law would be good for you. What area of law would make you happy? And when you start researching, you start teaching yourself, number one. And number two, you start finding out, do I really want to be in this? Yeah, that's the honesty. You have to tell yourself that. And, you know, and what comes in with this also is you have to be honest and understand that when you research, like you look up the average salary for a paralegal, and if you put that in Google today, you might see $50,000 and your eyes might be popping out of your head. But that's not real. That's not real. And that, you know, they get that figure because they're taking experienced paralegals out of LA, New York, Chicago, the big metropolitan areas, and putting them into that mix and calling that an average. It's not based on years of being in the field or anything. It's just an average. They put all those numbers together. It's not real. And so it's not real unless they start talking about beginner salary. Now, somebody nicely asked me yesterday, like, what does a beginner paralegal make? Can't go into that because it depends on the size of the law firm, the city you live in, what you're bringing to the table. You know, many factors about the salary. So I can't get, there's no like flat fee, flat hourly rate that where, you know, where I could say like working at the supermarket, they might start me at minimum wage and then I might get incremental raises when I worked as a cashier, right? But they don't put stuff out there for this field. They don't like to have that written in stone. Attorneys never want to have much written in stone regarding what they're going to pay somebody. And they're certainly not going to have that regulated as long as they have any input about that. Okay, so that is it for today. I want you to take a lot of those barriers and knock them aside and dispense with them. Get rid of them. Step by step by step. Don't think you have to be perfect to get in this career. I'm looking at your... Yeah, you listen, you don't have to wait. Thank you for your comment. You don't have to wait. But I want you to watch my video on here on YouTube. Search for it. That's called Why I Removed Mention of My Higher Education. I want you to digest that video, okay, and take it to heart. And there's good reasons for what I say in there. After being in the field for 28 and a half years, and that doesn't mean I've been in one job for 28 and a half years. I've had many jobs in the field, okay? So yeah, look for that video and take that with a grain of salt, meaning, and I'll be very honest here, don't get like, oh, why should I remove my education from my resume? Now look, I have a master's degree. If I was going, and not in paralegal studies, but if I was going to apply for a job tomorrow, if I leave master's and bachelor's degree on there, my associate's degree, what do you think they're thinking in terms of money? So watch that video, and that's the truth. And you can test it out. When you apply for jobs, send your stuff with it, without that information on it, and without your schooling on there. A lot of times that hurts, you know, and it hurts on an emotional level as well, because we worked hard. That doesn't mean it takes it away. And I wish it weren't so, but it's so. So, It bothered me to do it the first time, but when I landed jobs and I desperately needed the work, I had to do it. So you have to decide how important is a job to you, and watch that. Everybody should watch that video, okay? And especially everybody that's in school. School is okay, but in this field, it's overrated. And many schools are not teaching the practical side of paralegalism. So that's a real problem, real problem. So I wanted to give you these obstacles, take them away, overcome the obstacles. For those who are in school at this time, one of the most important questions is to ask people who head the department up, or if they have job placement help. They should absolutely have that. Do they? Are they going to help you land a job? Are they? So you need to check that out and seek after that. If they're not, don't lose heart over that. But what I highly recommend, hands down, is that you take my class in January, coming up very soon, in approximately 5 weeks away, very quickly coming up. Get on the wait list on my website, Leslie Sansone Williams. Go back a couple videos and go in the description box. You'll see a link to Paralegal Inner Circle class on my website. Very important. First step for an inside look in this career, for my people who are new to this, totally new, is to get my book, Legal Break-In. There was nothing like this still. Well, there's some out there on the market now, but I promise you, you'll get a good look inside this career as a first step. And then second step is to join us in January and get on the wait list, because then you'll get my emails in December that I'll give you some extra teaching in these emails, and then I'll give you a link if you're not signed up on the wait list yet. But it also say like the class is launching, and that usually will go out once a week. Okay. All right. So have a great day, everybody. Thank you for your comment. Best wishes as you go forward, everybody. And let me know what you think below. Love to hear from you. So make comments, say hi, ask difficult questions. I'll try to help you any way that I can. Things are bothering you, ask them below, and I'll try to help you. Okay. So remember, binge watch the videos here. Take notes. Join us on Facebook if you want to, and hang out with us there. Lots of good newbie people there, and paralegal veterans as well at Paralegal Coffee Talk on Facebook. Or if you prefer hanging out here, that's wonderful. So that is it for today. See you tomorrow with tip number 3, where I talk about emotions, okay, and how to get unstuck. All right, see you tomorrow. Bye.